And we are in on a Friday morning. It's James Phillips here, and joining me this morning, we've got Representative Tim Wadsworth, Republican from Arley. And Tim, you are all over the place right now between the legislative session has started and your wife's running for lieutenant governor. So you're zipping across the state here and there, it seems like.
We are, and we're still doing a lot in our community to try to help keep things going because the biggest in my district, which is District 14, I represent all the rural parts of Walker County, and then I have Winston County, except for Halable. I've got parts of Coleman, and then North Jefferson County, the Quarter Bagley area of Jefferson County. So I got 4 counties.
Yeah, I mean, 4 counties is a lot for a representative to have.
It is. The biggest town is 2,500. The smallest town is 78, Natural Bridge.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize that Natural Bridge had a municipality.
Oh, they are, and they work hard, and they basically got a $2 million grant back 2 years ago that they're still working on right now.
Yeah.
There's a railroad trestle that overturned this on top of 278.
Right.
And every time a mobile home travels from, say, Addison or anything traveling west, it has to take a left on Highway 5, travel all the way down to Lynn, cut across through Lynn, and go back on 13, and then travel back to 278 because the railroad trestle is too high.
Yeah.
And we got them about a $2 million grant to lower. The railroads won't raise theirs, but just to lower the road. So manufacturers, when they're traveling from east to west on 278, they can travel underneath there without having to take that 10-mile, 15-mile.
Yeah, because that's quite a detour there.
It was, and the people in Lynn, they have all these mobile homes that go through there, and it shuts down traffic. So this will be a big boost for Lynn and also the Natural Bridge area too.
Oh yeah, definitely so. Now, the session started last week.
Yeah.
And we had Senator Matt Woods on right at a week and a half ago or so, and he talked about the session, and it seemed like it's one of those that it may be kind of bare bones about what comes out of it. That it may be we're taking care of the budgets, and there's not going to be a whole lot of other what people would consider big news or like big talking points going on, but there's still important work to be done.
There is, and the budgets are very, very important. You've got to be able to get, we've got 2 different budgets in Alabama. We have the Education Trust Fund budget, and then we have the General Fund budget. And what we have to do, those are complicated to try to get out. And but once they're out, that helps. But we're doing other things, like, for example, right now, if you have a school bus driver that draws retirement, he retires, he can't come back and be a school bus driver without losing his retirement. And we passed a bill yesterday in the Alabama House that actually allows a school bus, because we have a need of school bus drivers, that allows a school bus driver to retire and then come back and be hired by the system, and then be able to draw some funds for driving a school bus, plus he'll be able to maintain his retirement.
Right. Well, and to me, that just makes sense because you got to have the school bus drivers, and you're short on them. So if there's a retired one out there, you're going to have to pay somebody. Might as well pay them, and they've already been good workers in the past.
Well, and see, we already have a program in place where educators who have retired, that they can actually be contracted back with the Board of Education and then come back and help teach, particularly in areas that we have shortages in. Oh
yeah, and I had not even heard about the bus driver bill. It seems like this early part of the session is when everybody's just putting in the bills, and the ones that get out as far as like in the media are typically something like the slap fight bill that I don't think anybody cares about.
Right.
But that is a good bill for the school bus drivers.
It is, and we've got a local bill that's coming through that actually, if you're 65 or over, they can't increase your property taxes above what it is right now. Once you hit 65, that's a bill that affects just Walker County.
Right.
It'll be voted on in Walker County.
Right, and that to me that's a that's a positive bill for the amount of people that we have here that are 65 and older, and they live on a tight budget. That's a way that they can know from now on what their property tax appraisal is going to be. You know.
Yeah, because property taxes, appraisals have gone up, and you got to do something to do it. But there's a whole lot of things that are out there that we've been dealing with over the years. During career tax centers, Walker County is building the Heman Drummond career tax facility.
Right.
And I think that is going to be a huge boost for Walker County.
Yeah.
And I'll give you an example. We toured the Nicole, who's running for lieutenant governor. We toured the Loxley Baldwin Preparatory School in Loxley, Alabama, and it's a $110 million career tech high school combined.
Right.
And the two things that fascinated me about that particular project was that all the students that go to that school actually come in a uniform that they would typically use if in whatever career tech field that they're working on.
Oh, that's
They
interesting. Yeah.
use that uniform. They have a card in they come in and they put their card in, and if they're on time at school timely, they get money back on that card, so they could use those funds to buy coffee, Cokes, whatever in the kind of the restaurant area in that facility.
Right.
And it's kind of like an incentive bonus for being on time, just like you have in the work industry.
Oh yeah.
And that's a big boost. Coleman is building a $50 million facility. Walker County is building a $60 million facility. And I think those are going to be excellent for our area and our students.
I definitely think so. I mean, we hear all the time about different jobs that are coming to Alabama, and we're trying to get jobs to Walker County, but a lot of times there's not the workforce to handle it, and to be able to have a place like the Heman Drummond Center here, we're building that workforce where companies, when they're coming to look where they're going to go, they see that, you know.
And a couple of things too. If you look at the exit 78, you've got on the left side, you've got the retail center. They have a Love's and an Arby's coming in now.
Right.
That's the first development there.
In Dora.
In Dora.
Yeah.
And then across the I-22, you've got they have a area where industrial.
Yeah, industrial park now. Yeah.
And that's a county industrial park, and we haven't had one in the county, but we did that a couple of years ago with some tax incentives.
Yeah, yeah, and that'll be a huge boost for the Dora area, because Dora hasn't. I guess it seemed like Summerton grew a whole lot, and Dora kind of stayed stagnant for a little while, and now they're getting this on the interstate. That's going to be a huge boost in them.
Have you been out to the facility in Oakman that contractors where they test munitions?
I haven't been to that. I saw some pictures and video from it. It looked interesting for sure.
Well, they do things out there. They test. I'm gonna call it rockets that are used similar to what they do. They've been doing. President Trump has been doing. In the coast to try to destroy these drug boats.
Right.
Down there. They test things out there that will do that, but do not create collateral damage all the way around.
Right.
But that's like probably, I know they've spent about $5 million already.
Right.
And you're looking at another probably $20 million that in the facilities out there in the future. And hopefully that what that'll do is the road between Oakman and Townley is due to the coal mines is really a bad road.
Yeah.
And hopefully that'll actually help us be able to get that road paved in the future too.
Oh yeah, yeah, and I mean, there's not a lot out in that Oakman Townley area, but any kind of road work would be great through there.
Got a new mayor in Oakman too, and,
Yeah.
And I think he's going to do well. And you have Judy Hurst, that's the mayor of Carbon Hill. I think they'll do well.
Yeah, you've got several new mayors in your district now.
Yeah, and I think also statewide, there's been there's kind of a movement of if you're in, they want it. They want changes.
Right.
And I think that's the environment we're in right now. That they don't really like career. I'm gonna call them career politicians.
Right.
And it just people want changes, and I think they have a right to make that decision.
Oh yeah.
But there's a lot of races going on right now. You got governors, lieutenant governors, all the constitutional offices that are out there, and people won't change. But at the end of the day, we need people in offices that are not career politicians, so
Right.
to speak, and that we need people that are in there that understand business. And that's a key thing, because you need developers, people that understand business, so that we can create more jobs out there that will help people statewide.
Yeah. Now the other local bill that you guys are going to be working on involves the probate judge. Is that right?
That's correct. You've got places like Pickens County that if you're an attorney, that you can continue to be in office till you're 75. Right now, in Walker County, if you're 70 years old, you cannot run again. And what this does, this allows somebody up to 75 to be able to run.
Right.
In there, and because I'll be honest, I'm 68. I'm not running for any of those offices, but I'm 68 years old, and I feel like I'm more than capable of being able to function
Right.
at 70 years old too.
Right.
And I just think we don't need to discriminate against it.
Maybe we should give everybody at 70 that's wanting to run those cognitive tests like Trump talks about a lot.
Yeah, and but I think people, President Trump's what, 82 or 83?
Yeah, I think he's in his early 80s now, right?
Yeah, and he's working hard.
Yeah, I mean I think people's life expectancy has gotten a little longer, and people
Yeah.
seem to be with the way medicine is nowadays. I feel like, especially with even the health problems that I've been through, they can keep you alive pretty good most of the time these days.
And I'll tell you what, health is in rural areas is critical.
Oh,
It's
definitely.
absolutely critical. In the east side of Winston County, we didn't have health care on the east side of Winston County up till just a few years ago. And Capstone out of Parish, they came up and started the health care in Arley, Alabama, and
Yeah.
then at the same time we got a FQH grant in Double Springs too. So they have a facility in Double Springs that is benefiting the folks in Winston County. They have they also operate the new facility in Nauvoo, which is a beautiful facility.
Oh, that Nauvoo facility, it's state of the art. It's as nice as anything in Birmingham.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing we didn't have on the east side of Winston County, we didn't have an ambulance service. It took anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour for a ambulance to come to Arley, Alabama, on the east side. Now we formed what you call a 501c3, where Helicon, Addison, Houston, and Arley came together as a group and formed a 501c3 organization, so that what they can turn around and do is they can have ambulance service. And right now the ambulance we have 5 ambulances now that is in our Arley, Addison area. One station in Addison, other station at Arley, that will handle the east side of Winston County. And that's been a grand thing, because if you have a heart attack or a stroke and you don't get to a hospital quickly.
Oh yeah.
And we the very first call we got was about 3 years ago, and in that call, from the time they got the call of a wreck, time it was on the helicopter, it was 17 minutes.
Wow.
And that's as good as you can get.
Oh yeah.
And that particular organization is actually the second largest employer in Arley now. They have 22 full-time employees that are 24 for that facility. That's 24/7.
Now I know rural health care has been a big item for you throughout your time in office, and it's important throughout Alabama. We've seen so many different rural hospitals close and people not having the care like you talked about. you guys, you personally have been, that's been one of the things that you've talked about a lot. What's the reasoning behind that? Just to help the constituents?
The reasoning
For just it being such a passion for you personally?
well, one, if you have a stroke or a heart attack, you die.
Right.
Or you're completely disabled. And that was one of the reasons why I ran, because we didn't have health care in 2014. And we've just done a tremendous job of the folks, everything you do in life, not just one person does something. You have a group of people that get together to do things, and we've got a really good organizations that work hard. You got Capstone, David Jones. He's been they've got a facility in Jasper and Nauvoo and Double Springs, and those are things that are just absolutely crucial for your community.
Oh yeah, Capstone's been a lifesaver for a lot of people in Walker and Winston County for sure.
And a lot of people don't realize. A lot of people have a difficult time even getting to a doctor by transportation. They have because they're at FQHC, they have a 3 different rides, I guess you can call it, where you can call, set an appointment, they'll come get you, bring you to that appointment, and wait on you and deliver you back, and it doesn't cost you anything to do
Right.
that.
Well, and we have a lot of people this year, even more than others, I think, that are struggling to even have insurance, and that's one thing that Capstone helps with a lot. Is there anything in the legislature trying to look to help with that issue? Because it seems like a lot of people are losing insurance here at the first of the years.
Well, that is a federal issue,
Right?
And I do tax work, and one of the things that individuals have, they have what you call a tax credit. When you file your tax return, and if you get that marketplace insurance, you got to get a 1095B
Right.
Form, and then that is the tax credit that goes on your return.
Yeah.
And that expired December 31st.
Right.
And when it expired, it shot up. They lost that credit, but
I'm one of them. Because mine went from, I paid last year $179 a month for my premium for me and my wife, and this year it went up to $1,800 a month.
It was because you didn't have that credit.
Yeah, because we didn't have the credit.
And I was opposed. I wanted some mechanism to at least compromise in that between the U.S. House and the Senate, so that some of it got paid.
Right. Yeah.
But it's not just that is an area, but if you look at last year, when the Biden administration went out, it used to be that 75% of the educators' health insurance was paid for by federal government, and then 25% was paid by the state of Alabama.
Right.
Well, when Biden went out, they flip-flopped it, where 25% is paid by the federal government, 75% is paid by the state. Well, that resulted in a $140 million increase in the insurance premiums last year for educators. Now, you think that's a lot, and it was. We paid the legislature paid $120 million, and then the PHIP reserve paid the other 20. So it didn't cause any type of increase.
Right.
With educators, but this year, over and above what went up where it went up last year, it's up $388 million more this year than it was last year, and we're trying to figure a mechanism to get a lot of that paid.
Right.
Now the PF board, they've got maybe $2.5 billion in their reserve. The most under their statute that they can pay is $250 million of the $388 million. So we've got, if they choose not to do that, we're dealing with a $388 million increase in premiums.
Right.
Again, over and above the last $140 million. And that's something that we've got to deal with in this session, and that is a critical thing, because if you take money out of for those premiums, then that affects everything in the education trust fund, whether it's raises, whether it's funding schools.
Well, I think it seems like most of the legislatures have said that raises for teachers are a big item this year they'd like to do. So
But we got two issues. We're having to deal with one raises. The other issue we're having to deal with is trying to find a mechanism to
for the insurance, yeah,
so that doesn't so you don't gain something with a raise, but then lose it with an increase in premiums.
right, yeah, and that's what it seems like. It's always the left hand's fighting the right hand sometimes to get the money in that
You
situation.
know,
Yeah.
it's honestly it's pretty tough. And what happens is there's I'm on the judiciary, I'm on rules committee, I'm on the local legislation committee, the Jefferson County Public Safety Committee, and Children and Senior Advocacy. I'm on 6 committees,
Yeah.
and we stay busy the whole time. Rules, what they do is they actually pick the bills.
Yeah, I was gonna say they picked the calendar out basically.
Yeah, they do, and they pick the bills to be voted on by the people, and then judiciary. We've got probably maybe 6 lawyers out of about 13, 14 people that are actually dealing with laws. Fixing the laws that are out there,
Yeah.
or increasing the laws.
Right.
But it's always everything's a struggle. And we typically a lot of the other committees stay 15 minutes.
Right.
We stay 2 hours.
Y'all are in there a lot of times.
Yeah.
Well, I want to remind everybody that we're talking to Representative Tim Wadsworth. We appreciate him coming in today to talk about what's going on in the Alabama legislative session that just started last week in Montgomery. It's the bottom of the hour. We're going to take a bottom of the hour break, and then we'll be right back to talk some more things that will be coming up. I definitely want to ask you about a few things that may not be coming up that I think people are interested in that I've seen asking too. So we'll be right back here on Live at 9 with James Phillips on WJLX. And we are back on Live at 9 with James Phillips here on WJLX. We've got Representative Tim Wadsworth, Republican out of Arley, with us today. And his district covers 4 different counties, and Walker and Winston are the heart of it. And then you've got some in Jefferson and some in Coleman, is that right?
Yeah, Coleman,
Yeah.
North Coleman, and then in Jefferson County is Corner and Bagley. I got Corner High School and Bagley Elementary.
Yeah.
And then Bagley Fire Department that are there. That actually helps. They come across the line and help the folks in Summerton
Yeah.
when they have fires there too.
I was telling somebody a story last night about when Bull Corey was running against you for that position, and he was out campaigning, and he couldn't say corner correctly to save his life. He kept saying corner. And I told him one day, I said, "You're not going to get a vote at all from corner if you can't say the name right."
Well, it's kind of like there's Detroit, Alabama, and then,
Right.
and then Detroit.
Right, yeah. And then when I lived in Mississippi, there was Louisville instead of Louisville, but it's spelled the same as Louisville.
Yeah.
What about, let's talk a little bit about you'd mentioned when we were in the break, some groups that you've kind of helped to form in your time in office, like the Carbon Hill Women's Group, and I think there's a Cordova Women's Group too.
Cordova Women's Group down there, and then also the Nauvoo, and then up in Winston County, we're working with the Ash Ridge area. There's a hailable group, and we formed the 501c3 for the Winston Rescue, which is ambulance service, and because they were a 501c3, we were able to get them an ambulance of $130,000 ambulance up in that area through the state. But if they had just been a city or a county, that had to apply. But they were able to get, and now we have ambulance service on the east side of Winston County.
Yeah, and so what it's done, starting some of those 501c3 groups, has helped to be able to get more funding into those cities in different ways, because you can only ask for so much and different things like that.
Also Union Chapel too.
Okay, yeah, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, we formed one for them so they could apply for grants too. And what they end up doing is a lot of times they'll apply for any type of grant, but you also have it's called RC&D, Kawaka RC&D grants.
Right.
Walker County got, I want to say it was around $140,000, and there were probably 40 different organizations that applied for those grants, and they were 501c3s.
Right.
And this allows your rural areas, not just your city or county being able to apply, or fire department that's a separate organization. It allows those other organizations to apply for different grants to help their community.
Yeah, and I know in Carbon Hill they've done a good job with the women's club. I think they did a project on the Blue Gym up there and some different things like that that's really improved. I guess it's more for those programs. A lot of times it's more of a quality of life type thing than actual government or anything like that.
It is, and you're doing things to improve your area. I know it is so costly out there to do anything. I know when we worked on those lights at Carbon Hill with the new gas station that's out there at that exit. It is so, everything is so high trying to get stuff done, and if you think you have accomplished something at one price, and all of a sudden when bids go out, it goes higher. I'll give you an example. Up in Arley, Alabama, we have Wallace State Community College put a campus in Arley, Alabama.
Right.
And they did their notice, they did the grand opening about 3 or 4 months ago. And a lot of people don't realize that Wallace State Community College got the Aspen Award, which is the third best community college in America.
Wow.
Think about that.
Yeah.
But they don't help us just on, they can do dual enrollment, do adult ed, and then regular classes, but they also will help with industrial recruitment too.
Right.
And that's critical to all your colleges. I went to Walker College when I was here, which is now Bevel.
Right.
And they do a tremendous amount. Bevel does in helping the community and help create employees that have skills so they can get jobs.
Oh, definitely.
Because the career tech jobs right now are jobs that people can go from instantly from high school into the workforce and be able to make a good living
Oh yeah.
doing that.
Well, and I know there's so many of our students in high school either that are going doing dual enrollment for trade jobs like that, or there's a lot of kids too that are going the traditional college route, and they're getting a semester or more before they get out of high school from Bevel. I think last year at Jasper High School there was one student that basically graduated from Bevel with a 2-year degree the day before they walked and graduated at Jasper.
Now,
And that's just amazing that the kids can be able to do that and be that far ahead.
well, I'll give you an example. Our Nicole and I, children, we got 2 children, and one graduated after the 11th grade in May and had 44 college credits already.
Wow.
And then in Sheridan will graduate a year early this year, and she will have 56 college credits already done.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
she's on the dean's list. Both of them are on the dean's list at the University of Alabama.
wow.
But what we have to have is have to have elected officials, and I'm gonna give a plug for Nicole. She's been an economic developer for 25 years, and we need people that understand business and not career politicians.
Right.
Because what we want is we want people that understand business so they can help our local economy and help our area.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely what we need. Now, you've got a new member of the delegation from Walker County this year with Greg Barnes coming in. Have you had a chance to have some good conversations with him?
I have. He's actually carrying 2 bills that are down there. He's carrying the bill dealing with raising the age for the probate judge and also the tax bill that's down there.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I hope I'll have him on. I had Matt on a week and a half ago, and I got you on today. So I'm hoping maybe next week or the week after that he can come in and everybody in the community kind of get to know him a little bit.
One thing is kind of interesting. I've got Coleman and I've got Walker that's in here, and both of them have had both the legislators in Coleman County resigned, so they've been having elections over there all this past year.
Oh yeah.
And then in Walker County, y'all are having elections too.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of I hate to say the senior, but
You're right.
I'm the senior representative, and obviously in both Coleman and in.
They're all going to have to come to you to get a little advice
Yeah,
from somebody with some experience.
Yeah, we give them a little bit of advice here and there, and then once they do that, they run on their own. They make their own decisions.
Like a bird flying out of the nest.
Absolutely, they do, and sometimes you just do a little tweak here and there, but they do all of them do a good job.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's just, but we all learn. I had to learn when I was surprised on a lot of things. One of the things I was kind of surprised at when I first got elected was I thought my decision, my way was the only way.
Right.
And then you realize there's probably 15 different opinions that down there, and you may affect you on one end, but it also has an impact on another end.
Right.
And so you have to do a lot of things to try to balance things out.
Well, the thing that I've always found interesting about Montgomery and the State House is how much, if you go down there and you spend a little time, you see how much of the actual work gets done in the hallways. Because there's a lot that happens on the floor, but there's a whole lot before anything ever gets to the floor that's happening in the hallways, and you see this guy talking to this guy and this guy talking, and it can be Republican and Democrat teaming up. Like it's a neat atmosphere.
A lot of times they want you to know what the bill is about.
Right.
And like, for example, one of the issues this time was who is in charge of the Alabama State Bar. Is it a judicial office? Is it a legislative office? Is it a executive office? We just passed a bill yesterday that completely said that the Alabama State Bar is a judicial office.
Right.
And just because, everybody, there's rules that apply to all those, and it's just some minor things, and like funding for hospitals and funding for it's called the Medicaid provider fees.
Mm-hmm.
Those have to be renewed every year, and because a lot of folks believe that hospitals receive their funding from the state of Alabama,
Right.
they don't. And what they do is they get their funding from what's called Medicaid provider fees. That is, if you spend $1 in Alabama at a hospital, that if they expend $1 in a hospital, we get $2.44 back from the federal government.
Right.
And so if you spend and I don't, the system is terrible because what ends up happening is that the more you spend, the more you get from federal government, and we need a mechanism in place where things are reduced back down,
Right.
and where there's an incentive to lower cost, and we don't always quite have that.
Now, are there, one of the things I did want to bring up that people talk about every year, and we talked before we came on the air about it, is the possibility of a lottery. I've seen it since this session started. A lot of people have been on social media saying, will there be a gambling bill brought up? Are they going to talk about lottery? And Senator Woods, when he was in here, he said he really didn't think it would pop up this time.
I don't anticipate it popping up because they've got to have the votes in the Senate. We've actually passed, and we haven't passed a lottery or passed gaming. What we've done is in the Alabama House, we've passed a bill to allow the public to make that decision and to vote on it.
Right.
That's what it is, because we're not going to pass it and say, hey, y'all do this, do that. You got to have it where they have a right to make the decision. And when the public decides, and it needs to be decided just and put to bed.
Right.
One way or the other. But it's come out of the House 3 times, but in the Senate, it missed by 1 vote in the Senate.
Yeah.
And but they've got to. It's got to start in the Senate because they're the ones that have been stopping it every year.
Now, is there anything just in your mind crazy out there? Any bills that just you're thinking, are we wasting our time even talking about this?
Well, this year we are, but I would anticipate it coming up next year.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they've got to have the votes they got to have all the votes.
Right.
You have some people that are just fundamentally opposed to it, to even any consideration. One, we were talking about they have the right to vote on it.
Right.
And see.
And I think that's all anybody's asking for.
Yeah, and in Winston County, I'll tell you, we always vote on everything. We have Winston County is the only county in the state of Alabama out of 67 that have the Posey Amendment. It was passed in 1960, and what it says is that if you have a local bill, that no matter what it is, it has to be put on the ballot, and the people of Winston County will vote yes or no. No bills can be just done as a local bill and passed without your decision.
Yeah.
In Winston Countyans get the right to make the decision on every local bill. Now, Walker County, it's not like that. Now, there's some bills that are what's called referendums, which are constitutional amendments which require a vote of the people. And so, but there's some they do, but in Winston County, every single, whether it's constitutional amendment or a regular local bill, they're voted on by the people.
Oh, yeah.
And that's good and bad. Sometimes you don't have the you don't get the progress that you need
Right.
by doing things.
Right. Now, one thing, if people don't follow you on Facebook, they really should, because you spend time while you guys are in session letting people know what votes are coming up, how it's going. It's almost like a play-by-play.
It is, but I will tell you this: the last 7 or 8 days. Last year we didn't have it. Last week we only had maybe 3 bills that passed. But I've got a glitch in my Facebook right now.
Oh no!
Yeah, and I'm trying to get it resolved where I can get in my own Facebook. Right
Yeah.
now I can't even get in my own Facebook.
Oh no!
And so I'm gonna work on it this weekend to be able to get those bills and put it back up.
Yeah, yeah.
But Facebook is
It can be a great thing, and it can be a terrible thing.
yeah, and when it goes down,
Yeah.
and mine's down right now, and I'm having to deal with it to try to get it,
Right.
get it back up.
And if anybody knows you personally or they have followed you on social media, uh, everybody knows you're a huge supporter of the University of Alabama. I bet you've been catching a few basketball games this year.
I've done that, but I'll tell you what, it's interesting. We've gone down to Auburn to see their facilities,
Yeah.
and if it's Alabama Auburn, I'm gonna be in Alabama. But you realize there's more than just two universities in this state.
Right.
You got Jacksonville State, you got UNA, you got Bevel, and you got Wallace State Community College.
Yeah.
And what I try to do is I try to support all the universities.
Oh,
except
yeah.
if they play in Alabama.
Right. And then you got to just pull for Alabama.
But it's the same thing with schools, because I'd probably have got 14, maybe 15 communities and towns in my district. Probably have at least 40 fire departments in my district.
Right.
And it's hard to get around to everyone, but we try to equally fund all the schools and do things.
Yeah.
Because every school needs things, and it doesn't matter what it is. And a lot of times, the Board of Education may not fund those particular projects, but some of the small projects, we're able to help them.
Right.
Either through RC&D grants, through Kawaka, or just through service funds.
Now, do y'all still have the community development block grants? That's usually a something that would come to our towns a lot.
Well, it's the RC&D.
That's what
they do.
Okay.
But we have school service grants.
Yeah, and I knew you guys did that a lot too.
We do that, and then in some areas, like for example, Coleman County, we have what you call TVA funds.
Oh yeah.
We have funds there that we're able to allocate from that, and in Jefferson County, and it can only be used in Jefferson County, is that they did some taxes back many years ago dealing with a bond issue, and we're able to take funds from that. It's called the Jefferson County Service Fund, and to fund projects at fire departments and schools in Jefferson County, but it's limited just to Jefferson County.
Yeah.
Some of the areas that our fire departments, we try to do, we try to encourage our fire departments to apply for these Kawaka RC&D grants.
Yeah.
But many times your communities don't realize what's out there.
Yeah. Exactly.
And then once they get that knowledge, then they can apply. They may not get it every year, but what they do is they'll get funds, and those funds will help their community. And so, but the more, but there's a ton of different grants that are out there. But if you don't apply, you don't get.
Right. Now, we're running short on time now. We're getting close to the end of the hour. And one thing I did want to bring up to you, just to get a personal thought from you, on because Woody and I and Brian Hill are going to be talking a little bit about the reclassification of the high schools and their athletics and that kind of thing of who will be playing with who in the next couple years. And I think it's supposed to be released this morning. But we've had a thing come out where the legislature and the High School Athletic Association kind of button heads, to say the least. Where do you kind of stand on that process?
I'm not for setting up a state agency
Yeah.
to deal with schools. I think schools need to manage their own.
Yeah.
And I'm not for that bill. But I will tell you this, that there was a bill that was introduced in the Senate by Donnie Chastain, and I noticed this last week they said that he tapped his brakes on it.
Oh, okay.
Which means that he's pulled back.
Yeah, he's pulled it back.
Yeah, because I don't think it don't sound like it's going to go forward.
Yeah.
On that, but I would be, if it comes down to the House, I would be opposed to that.
Because I know a lot of people locally were not happy, and I don't really agree with the Choose Act either. I don't think we should put public funds to a private school, you know.
I'm the same way. I voted against, and actually, I can't tell you who all voted against, but I actually voted against that. And I voted against the Alabama Accountability Act bill too.
Right.
I just think our education needs our education. We need to support public education.
Yeah.
But I was opposed to the Choose Act, and I was opposed to this new bill that they're doing.
I agree with you 100%. I think that's where we should be. And see, people would think that we're on two different ends of the spectrum when it comes to politics, but we got more in common than we have not in common. And
Yeah.
I appreciate you always supporting and being willing to talk and being open.
I'll tell you what I think,
That's right.
and I don't hold it back.
That's some of that free state in you, I think.
Well, it's a good. One thing that's kind of interesting. We are the Winston County had the highest Trump vote in the nation.
Oh, definitely so.
And we got an award from President Trump at the Lincoln Reagan dinner a few years ago because our vote was 90% President Trump, and we had the highest Trump vote in the nation, not just Alabama,
Right, but everywhere.
everywhere, and it's because we were the free state of Winston. And,
Yeah.
and when supposedly when the South seceded from the Union and stayed with the North, we got out of the state of Alabama, supposedly.
Those Winston County folks, they'll tell you what they think and don't worry about it too.
They'll and a lot of times they won't say a lot to those.
That's right, but they're a hard-working bunch for sure.
They do. That is one thing about folks.
And Walker,
what
too.
they do. Both Walker and Winston, they work hard and they want things people to be good stewards.
Right.
Of
Well, and
their
I think
money.
all of us in this area of Alabama, we can all agree that we're hard-working blue-collar people who just want the best for our own families and the people around us. You know.
Well, I just want to say that I appreciate the folks in Winston and Walker and Coleman and Jefferson counties giving me an opportunity to serve because I feel like we've made some good progress over the years and trying to help our schools or medical particularly and then just getting things developed and going in your
Yeah.
way. And I appreciate them giving me that opportunity.
Well, we sure appreciate you coming in today. And anytime during the session, if there's something you need to get out to the public, just let us know. Or towards the end, if you want to come back in and talk about things that have gotten done, feel free anytime to come by.
And I appreciate y'all having forums like this that people that you can ask questions and get information out to the public.
Right. Yeah.
Because the public needs to know they need to take candidates, and when they take those candidates, they need to research them and find out who is for business, who's not for business, who's trying to help your community.
Right.
And because if you don't have people helping your community, and then the people in the community need to help their community too.
Right.
Because it's not just your representatives that try to assist your community. Everybody else needs to get involved in these 501c3 organizations. They do a good job because they're applying for grants, they're trying to work with the community, and I'm proud of all the 501c3s that we help create, so they are helping our area.
Right.
And I
Well,
appreciate that.
thank you again for coming in, and I want to thank everybody out there for tuning in this week. We'll be back on Monday. Monday we're going to have Brian Baker, as usually shows up on Monday. He's going to be with me. And then I know we've got several of the Jasper High School cheerleaders coming in because Monday is senior night for Jasper basketball team and the cheerleaders. So that'll be a lot of fun. They've been here before, and I think it's one of the more popular shows that we had because those girls, they will say just about anything. So it's going to be fun to have them in here. Tim, thanks again. Guys, until Monday, be kind and love, and stay warm this weekend. And we'll see you then on Live at 9 with James Phillips on WJLX.